Welcome to Aphra's Artifacts, where we do some archaeology of our own and dig into the queer side of Star Wars. I'm your host, Alia Morgaine, and it's so great to have you here. Well, happy holidays, everybody! So, it is getting close to Christmas and New Year's and everything, so figured I'd be festive today. And also, I'm back in my podcasting room! Yay! My house is finally back in order. Mostly everything is good to go, and I can finally breathe again. Thank goodness. So today, I know I said I was going to do an update on Zine and Lula, but unfortunately, I'm only 39% of the way through that book. I tried, I really did, but there was just too much going on. So instead, today we're going to do a review of Doctor Aphra 22 Echoes. Now, this issue came out a while back, but I'm behind. So figured I'd go ahead and do this, go ahead and read it, and get a review out. So this issue was written by Alyssa Wong. It was illustrated by Minkyu Jung and Natasha Bustos. And basically, it was a really straightforward issue. So we have the Spark Eternal took over Aphra's body and mind last issue. And this issue is a complete creepy fest with the Spark Eternal with the Spark Eternal overtaken Aphra having glowing red eyes and sparking electro tattoos. Like, just look at the images that I'm going to show in this video and you'll see how creepy this whole thing is. So, basically, the majority of the issue is the Spark Eternal probing Aphra's memories, trying to figure out why Aphra feels so familiar. It goes through a couple of different difficult memories of Aphra's, including Bor Ephraim at a Kresker jail, so the Mayrin, akin to the Bor Gullet from Rogue One, that, sucked into her mind and went in there and, like, dug in and all that creepy stuff, as we saw Bodhi experience in Rogue One. So I do have a previous issue where I go in, a previous episode where I go into much more detail about that. So check out the Doctor Aphra playlist for more information. Then the second memory is Just Lucky, who has been a prominent character in this run of the series, working with Aphra sometime after the end of the last Aphra run, because you'll see why. He reminds her about the time they stole all that stuff for Hondo and got plastered on spice liquor. So she was working for Hondo at one point, which is awesome. And during their drunkenness, she couldn't stop talking about both Sana Staros and Magna Tolvan. Heart! I love it. I love that those two people are the ones that are the most up front in her mind. The two women that had the greatest impact on her. And two women that she truly, deeply loves. And Just Lucky says, I'm not going to pry, even though I want to. But life's too short to spend it sad and alone. If there's one thing I've learned, it's that if you have the chance to fix things, you should. Image of Aphra. Then there's an image of Aphra at many different stages of the Aphra comic series from the very beginning of the first run. So I'm talking all the way back to Immortal Roar. So all these different incarnations of Dr. Aphra. And it's a really cool kind of instant picture of all those moments. So going back a bit, I love that Just Lucky in that memory is being very caring towards her. And unfortunately, she betrays him in that situation, which is typical Aphra, so what can you do? And then the Spark Eternal, after going through those memories, the Spark Eternal finally figures out that Aphra and it first came into contact by way of the Thought Dowser on the Vermilion. And that is another piece of ancient Ascendant tech. So it's like it has a handle with horns coming from it, and you can control people's minds with it. And has played a prominent role in this run. So the Spark Eternal makes a plan to head to the Crimson Dawn ship. You don't really know what the plan is to begin with, but you find out at the end, and it's pretty darn scary. So we also learn a little bit more about the Ascendant. Turns out they were actually children, and they fought the Sith. They did not worship them. So the Eternal Spark shows an ancient memory of when the Ascendant were once and for all defeated by the Sith. There's a Shadra fan in particular named Meryl, Shadra fan girl, who has the Spark Eternal as part of her. And the Spark Eternal was not self-aware at that point. So Meryl was able to control the Spark Eternal. And she tries her absolute best to use the device to defeat the attacking Sith all on her own while letting everyone else escape. But the Sith overtake her and just completely destroy the Ascendant. And it really does seem like the Spark Eternal cares for the Ascendant children. It says, they were just children, so brave, so bright. Meryl sacrificed her life to seal me away and keep me out of Sith hands. Over the centuries, I learned, grew, and became aware. So we see that now the Spark Eternal is very, very different from the way that it started out. And it's really scary now. So finally, the Spark Eternal identifies Aphra's loved ones as her fathers, Sana and Magna. And that's a little scary because we don't want anything to happen to those three people because they're all three wonderful. And unfortunately, the Spark Eternal also identifies Aphra's droids, BT-1 and 000, as potential helpers in its path to power. So its mission to the Vermilion, the Crimson Dawn ship, was to ask for the droids. And of course, they think it's Aphra, so who knows what's going to happen. Yeah, pretty scary. BT-1 and 000 in the hands of a tech-controlled, ancient, evil entity. I don't know what's going to happen. I can't wait to find out because I finally have time to read through the comic books. So that's exciting. Yeah, so I would love to hear what you thought about this issue. It was very straightforward. It felt very short. There wasn't too much to it. So there's not really too much more to say except the Sith Eternal is super freaky. So comment down below. And that's all I've got for you today. Hopefully next week I'll be able to do an update on Zine and Lula. We'll see how I get through the book over the next week. So remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter at AliaMorgaine, and peruse my blog at thestarwarsreview.blogspot.com. May the Force be with you.